Hey, what's going on, folks? It's another week. This is the Live Life Aggressively show. Sincere Hogan, Mike Mahler. What's going on, man?
Well, I'm excited about our guests today, you and me. Because guess what?
Yeah, I like those guys.
Guess what? Because out of the last 15 episodes we've done, guess which episode ranks the highest? Actually, not the one we just did, but the one before that, the one you and I did back in, I think it was last month. Yeah. I mean, that's our highest ranking episode. Hey, so the people have spoken. Fuck guests. It's just going to be us from now on. How about that?
Well, I mean, it is the Live Life Aggressively show with Mike Mahler and Sincere Hogan, not a bunch of other motherfuckers.
So the people have spoken. No more guests, folks. Stop sending in your guest recommendations. It's just going to be us from now on.
Because 9 times out of 10, that guest is probably flaky, and you reach out to them, and they say they're going to be on the show, and they don't show up. You know, and then they come like after the show is recorded, like, "Hey, man, I'm here." Yeah, 2 days later. This is not the day we said we were recording. Check your email again. So a lot of times your guests, they're kind of dumb as far as mentally. They have book sense, but common sense, not so much. So yeah. So how about this? Just send us questions like you've been doing, and that actually will address those in future shows. That's how we build content instead of having a bunch of jackasses on there who will probably come on the show and then leave the show and won't care about you. You know, the listeners. So, yeah, they try to pitch something, which we don't let them get away with that anyway, which makes it fun for us if they try to pitch something. Oh, God, we need one of those guys on there. In fact, yeah, send one of those guys over to us. That'll be a fun episode. When somebody just sits there and try to promote their stuff through the whole show, we're just like, nope. Stop it.
I mean, we have some good guests next month. We've got Charles Poliquin,
Yeah.
Ryan Holiday's coming, Dr. Julio Garcia in November. My friend Rohit Kalra is going to talk about building financial success, how to manage money properly. I mean,
and that's just in time because that's going to be around the holidays when people really need to know about that, because that's most of the time when people go broker, I should say, because sometimes you're spending way beyond your means as it is, and then the holidays comes on and most people shop because of guilt. Well, I need to buy this and I need to buy this because I don't want people thinking of me a certain way and blah, blah, blah. I don't want their feelings getting hurt. But are their feelings going to get hurt when you're in debt? And then you could probably have to come to them and borrow some money.
Buy a bunch of people stuff they don't need. The best gifts for people, in my opinion, are donations to charities, right? So you pick whoever the recipient's favorite charity is and make a donation. And if they don't appreciate that, then they don't deserve a gift at all. You know, what does that say about you? If someone said, "Hey, man, I made a couple $100 donation in your name for this," I'd be like, "Wow, thanks a lot. That's awesome."
You don't want to be that guy like, "Oh, for real? You can just send me the money." Are you really going to be that guy?
That way it's not something that's just going to end up in someone's closet, or it's going to end up at the Salvation Army. It's going to end up in
because that's
the
usually
garage.
What happens when you buy me. If anybody's buying me clothes and all the other stuff for like gifts, man, for birthdays or whatever else, eventually, because 9 times out of 10 you probably don't know my style.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Bingo.
And it's going to end up at the Star of Hope mission in Houston. They're going to get it. So on behalf of the Star of Hope, thank you for your donation. Because the one thing I don't need is more clothes. Okay, no, I'm good.
No doubt about it. Well, we got some fun stuff to talk about today. Just a few shout-outs before we get to that. Wanted to give the following people some praise for using that coupon code LLA to get 10% off some great products. We got James Davis, Stefan Capusta, Eric Henderson, David Cohn, Leslie Patterson, Kevin Odell, James Kolabufu, and I'm sure I just butchered that name. I'm sure it sounds a lot cooler than what I just Kolabufu. Jan Kramer, Peter Frissel, Evan Owens, all using that coupon code LLA to get 10% off some great products at MikeMahler.com and support the show. And then also Joe Vilpa made a donation to me by PayPal. He didn't want to do a monthly occurrence. Okay. So he just sent us I'll give you a heads up on that one. He just sent us a donation to show his support. So thank you, Joe.
Yeah, appreciate that. And speaking of those monthly donations, we also have our latest Patreon supporters of patreon.com/LLA show. Excuse me, LLA podcast. One of these I'll probably have to change the URL and let it match the way we changed the name now. But anyway, so big shouts out to Chris Webb, Ben Buchanan, and David Wilson. See, very simple names. Like that. No one got butchered.
That's usually what I look for
on
my
behalf.
Pick names. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. But today I was running a little late, so I just went in my shopping account or shopping cart and just grabbed the first several names I saw.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you guys for being a monthly contributor to the show over patreon.com/LLA podcast. You can go over there and pledge $5, $10, or more each month to the show. Helps us keep the show going and growing, keeps crappy advertisers off this show. So we won't be selling you the panties of the month and all that other stuff like that. And, the edible dildo of the month or anything like that. You don't have to worry about any of those things happening on this show.
Get out the red panties. Oh, man. People pitching a bunch of stuff they don't use.
Exactly. I'm like, really? $1 a month just for a razor? Is it that serious? I mean, you're looking at a dude that hasn't cut his hair in like 25 years. But I'm just wondering, is it, as far as shaving, I use clippers. But I'm just like, is it that serious now?
I mean, but it's funny to me that people create problems that don't exist. It's like, who has time to go to the store anymore and buy razors? I was like, you don't have time to go to the store to buy razors? Aren't you there anyway for other stuff? And then you buy razors in addition to deodorant and shampoo and all the other necessities.
So what's next? The deodorant of the month club? Join the deodorant of the month club. Are you tired of buying deodorant at the grocery store? Isn't that why they call it grocery store? Shouldn't we be buying groceries that we eat and not put in our armpits? Like, come on, man. Is it that serious, man? Just deodorant, man. Come on. So yeah, man, that's always hilarious to me. Some of these podcasts I listen to and I hear some of the sponsors, I'm like, gosh, we're not going to be those guys. Right. Okay, if it's anything we do. But the only way that can happen is you guys continue to support the show using that coupon code LLA at both of our websites or Patreon supporters, or sharing the episode with people who are going to do the following two things, the aforementioned two things I just said. So there you go. Now, quite a few things going on, man, that we're talking about today. You've got some interesting things that you want to bring up, and I've got something for all my coffee lovers. So at the time that we're recording this show, it is National Coffee Day. So that is my Christmas. So I just thought it's appropriate to bring up some things for coffee that some of the folks have been emailing me and asking about. But let's get into some more things as far as supplement wise, man, and some of the things that you discovered.
There's been some interesting developments on the testosterone front. And I'm seeing more and more researchers come on the same page of not denigrating sex hormone binding globulin as much as they used to. A lot of us always profess that sex hormone binding globulin is what makes your testosterone deactivated, inactive. So the goal is to lower that and, in essence, free it up, make it more active. But in reality, sex hormone binding globulin has a very important purpose, which is to transport testosterone to places where it can actually be utilized. So it basically takes testosterone, binds it, and then it transports it to the muscles, the liver, the heart, the cells. So it's actually a very useful hormone. It's not something you want to lower to undetectable levels. So that's why I always say that you want to go by how you feel more than numbers on a piece of paper. We've talked about this before where someone will get their readout and then they're like, I was hoping my testosterone would be 800 and I was hoping my free would be off the scales. I was like, yeah, but you told me before you got the test that your sex drive's been off the chain, that you're waking up with sledgehammer erections every morning, that you're chasing your wife around the house, that your workouts are off the chain. So who cares about a bunch of numbers on a piece of paper? Go by how you feel. Because on the other end, sometimes you have numbers on a piece of paper which look great, but you still feel like crap. So something's wrong there. Maybe it's a good number for someone else, but it's not enough for you. Maybe 600 is a good total for me, but if you have that, you feel like crap. You need to be at 900 or more to feel great. So we're all individuals here, and it's not going to just be one set of rules that applies to everybody. But one thing that's undeniable is if you have a very high sex drive and your mood is great and your workouts are strong, those are undeniable results. Those aren't placebo things. Those are clear signs of health. Because I always say the one thing that shows clearly how healthy you are is your sex drive. If you have a non-existent sex drive, you're not healthy at all. It's impossible to have a very low sex drive and be healthy and vibrant and in a thriving state.
Right. And don't mistake, having a low sex drive with, well, I'm not attracted to the person I'm with. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a low sex drive. But here's the thing, if somebody still walks by you or the wind blows and you still get a rock hard erection, you don't have a
That's a sexy low sex wind drive. Right there. You just have that wind.
That is the quote of the week right there. That is a sexy wind.
Tell me, every time that wind blows, whoo.
Woo! Man, look out. Someone talking about
the job that wind does. Incredible. Yeah, but it just goes to show with hormone optimization is still a relatively new field, so we're just learning more and more as time goes on. So I just find it interesting. I just find it really interesting how as people get smarter and more information arises, how it often contradicts things. But that you can say that about any field of knowledge, any scientific field, period.
And the common denominator here is, again, people getting caught up in the numbers and the numbers and the numbers. People get caught up in the numbers from the time they get on a scale. They start a training program. 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, well, I'm not losing any weight.
Right.
In fact, I've gained weight. Like, no, you've gained muscle, okay? That's the thing. You're actually – and who cares? How do you feel? Well, I mean, I feel better. I feel strong, and I'm sleeping well, and blah. I'm like, oh, so what are we talking about right now? Why do we care what a scale's talking about? I said, can you just do me a favor and, like, look here. Tomorrow we're going to go and use sledgehammers, and we're going to smash the tire. Bring your scale so you can give us something else to target while we're smashing that tire so we can smash that. Let it go. You know, all that scale really is telling you is how much gravity is keeping your ass from floating out in the space. Okay, so that's how you should look at it, okay? I'm like, we're talking about gravity right now. So my thing is, if you're feeling good, your clothes are fitting, they're looser, and you're telling me your new problem is, oh, none of my clothes fit, you know, in a good way. It's not like they're getting tighter, they're falling off of you. Then who cares what that scale's talking about? That's my thing. So let's not get caught up in the numbers. Everything's
well, I think that's why performance is such an important part of training. And this might sound contradictory to what you said about not being caught up in the numbers. But what I like about performance when it comes to working out is that it's exciting. It's never boring to be stronger when you're working out, right? I've never gone in the gym and lifted more than ever and been like, oh, that was too easy. What a letdown. Or it's like, man, I'm tired of just doing more reps and lifting more weight every time I work out. That's always an exciting feeling. It always gives you a big high for the day because that's very quantifiable. Like things on the scale, there could be a lot of reasons for that. But if you're getting stronger, you're doing a lot of things right. Everything else will fall into place. Yeah. Get your diet in order, get your sleep going. But I mean, your sleep is already going well if you're getting stronger. Your diet's probably good too if you're getting stronger because you're not going to get stronger on a really good program without a good nutrition plan and without optimal restoration. So it's a clear indicator.
It's crazy. Exactly. It's crazy how like the synergy works because as you're getting stronger, you stop wanting crappier food. You know, you actually, I mean, what I'm even thinking about is like you just have no desire to eat that. It's just something that clicks like, I'm getting stronger. I'm getting stronger, and I'm not trying to mess that up right now. And even what you just said right now, even then, you're not necessarily getting caught up in the numbers because most people like, okay, I'm going to the gym today. I'm going to go ahead today. I'm going to hit 550. You know, so they're thinking about the numbers again. And then if they don't hit it, all of a sudden they're just down and out, ruined. Man. You know, but again, when they focus on the performance, someone can tell you like, you know what? You know, let me go in here and hit 515. Okay, cool. That's what my goal was today, just to hit that. Like, oh, this is feeling kind of easy. Let me go ahead and slap 10 more pounds on there. Oh, crap. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Let me add a little bit more. You're not necessarily like, oh, today I'm going to hit 550. But next thing you know, you hit like 525 and it's feeling easy and it's feeling like 505. It's feeling like, okay, this is good. I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to use this momentum for next week. You know, and then you start assessing like, why is everything falling into place right now? Like, well, I got plenty of sleep last night and I did eat, you know, I've been eating pretty well and I ate in enough time before my program started, before I came and trained. I didn't wait too late or didn't eat like soon enough. You know, everything's right on point. So let me make a note of that next time and just keep doing that. So if something's working, do more of that. And that's when that theory comes into place, right? So you're not necessarily getting caught up in the numbers. The numbers are just a byproduct of the performance. I guess that we could say it that way. Instead of putting the carriage before the horse, like, let me get the numbers first and try to live up to those expectations. You know, so that's the thing.
Yeah, one thing that's going to help a lot of people with just improving their adrenal health, their workout performance, and managing stress a lot better is finally I've got the finishing touches on a new adrenal energizer coming out. It's called R.E.D, and that's going to be Real Energy Dominator. And it's going to be maca, rhodiola, shilajit, and sensorol, which is a form of ashwagandha, which is actually going to be in my testosterone booster as well, the next batch, which will be out soon. So anyway, these 4 ingredients work really well to rejuvenate your adrenals, to give you a lot of energy, to help you manage stress better. It's a really cool combination that a lot of people are going to benefit from, and it's going to come out before the end of this year, no doubt about it. I'll probably be putting in the order this week, and generally it doesn't take more than 2 months to come to fruition where everything is done. The labels are on the bottles. They're in stock, ready to sell. So hopefully I'll have it ready for Thanksgiving, but definitely Christmas, if not the Thanksgiving weekend.
perfect. That's going to be a time where it's going to be needed.
Yeah, it actually worked out nicely in terms of when it's coming out. But adrenal health is so important for overall hormone optimization. So this is a good adjunct to everything else I have. It's a good product to take in between cycles of the testosterone booster because it also has testosterone boosting properties for men. And then also it helps improve natural DHEA levels, improve your sleep. So it's a cool product. It's something that everybody can benefit from. It's not going to be ridiculously expensive. The price will be good, and it will be out ASAP. So I'm excited about that one.
All right. Got a lot of initials going here.
R.E.D. ASAP. Buy now. BN. You need to get your BN on when this product comes out.
Respect.
At the end of the day,
you sound very much like Jason Dolby right now.
I'm going to give you a jingle. Talk about respect. The other funny thing I wanted to bring up, I've been reading this good book called The Low Carb Myth by R.E. Whitten and Dr. Wade Smith. A lot of interesting information in there, but one point they brought up that I had a good laugh over is how the low fat craze that everybody always talks about, right? People always say, remember the low fat craze where everyone got fatter? Well, the reality is that low fat phase never existed, the craze. It never happened because what happened is people kept on consuming the same amount of fat as they always did, but now they felt that they could eat a lot of low fat nonsense, all these packaged foods on top of that without any detriment. And the reality is obviously you couldn't, so they ended up getting a lot fatter. But it's not because they reduced their fat to non-detectable levels and then just ate more carbs. That's not why they got fat.
Right.
They got fat because they ate more, period. Overall consumption was higher.
So, I got low fat. I can have a higher amount of meals.
I just love how people try to blame macronutrients. It's like, it's the fat. Cut it all out. No, it's the carbs. Cut all that out. It's like, oh, it's too much protein. How about a balance? How about you get some protein in? How about you get some good carbs in? How about you get some fat in? So I tell you what,
come on, Mike.
When I get a nice balance of all three, I feel great. I went sprinting yesterday, did 10 100-yard runs, felt fast, man. I felt good. And the day before, I made sure to load up on sweet potato and some jasmine rice with spices and some legumes, and just a good day of eating and resting. I felt like $1 million running down that field yesterday. It felt great. And like you made a good point to me a while back. You're like, yeah, you're naturally going to crave carbs more doing all the sprinting you're doing because you need the energy.
Right.
So I mean, I never really understood why people always felt that it was one macronutrient to blame for all of their problems, and if they just cut that out, they would be fine. Pick the healthiest options of those macronutrients. That's important. But don't cut it out.
There you go. Well, I mean, the reason why they're picking that because someone told them to pick that because somebody's trying to sell them something. So they're not making these decisions on their own. They're being programmed to think that these are the right decisions because these experts said that this macronutrient is a problem. And who am I? I mean, this guy went to school for that, right? He should know. So, I mean, he's got, a certain title in front of his name or some letters after his name. So why should I trust what he's saying? If he says so, then I'm all for it. So that becomes a problem as well, not necessarily doing your homework. And it's getting to the whole balance thing, Mike. Come on, man.
I remember one doctor said, I don't know if it was at a conference or maybe it was in person, but he basically said too much fruit consumption is why we have the obesity epidemic. I was like, yeah.
Oh, let me tell you,
there's an epidemic of fruit consumption. Most people don't even get one fruit in per day. It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh, my God. Yeah, I've heard that so many times, and I just really want to punch people in the throat like that. I'm like, come on.
That, I want apple.
Fructose. It's the fructose. I'm like, come on. They piss me off because they can't say it correctly. It's the fructose. It's like, okay, that sounds like something else, but no. Come on, man. So that drives me bananas. Yeah. I said that. But I hear that from so many so-called experts and so many of these trendy type diets always bringing that up. We humans weren't supposed to eat fruit. I'm like, really? Did you just say that?
Well, a lot of the arguments often are, here's another one that's really funny, is when people talk about food, like, well, don't eat carbohydrates because they spike your insulin. It's like, well, protein spikes insulin too. There's a lot of...
No, Mike, it can't be that. Come on, not protein. It builds muscle. It doesn't have time to spike insulin. It's supposed to only build muscle.
I mean, the only way to keep insulin low is to basically fast in between meals. Anytime you eat anything, you're going to get an insulin response.
Yeah, but then again, those are the same people telling you eat freaking 6 meals a day. So, yeah, you wonder why you're having insulin spikes. Okay, come on, man.
And it's not insulin resistance that's making you fat. You're fat, which is why you have insulin resistance. Right. So it's insulin resistance is a side effect of being overweight, not something that creates being overweight. That's the other thing too. You lose the weight, you lose the insulin resistance. So anyway, it's not as complex as people like to make it. And I think this is what frustrates a lot of people, is because they don't feel like they can have everything, which creates a lot of stress. Now your cortisol's up because you go to the grocery store and you don't know what to buy. It's like, well, I want to get berries, but so-and-so said that's bad for me.
Exactly. Dude, that is the reason. That was one of the reasons why, man, I worked with the guy and did the weight and created that weight management program. So people can just get through all that crap, all this, well, he said, I can't do this, I can't do that. It makes it very simple, understandable, and then you can like, okay, now I can actually go live my life and not sit and be paranoid of freaking real food. Why are you afraid of real food? Okay, it's like, come on, man. It's like
it's not the almonds and walnuts and blueberries and apples that are causing your health issues.
No. And it's also being worried about food is also making you very unhealthy. Just one more thing to be stressed out about.
Exactly.
Being an orthorexic, like, I got to be healthy. That's not healthy. No. Calm down, man. Breathe, brother. So, yeah, man. Again, it always comes down to, what are they trying to sell you? When people say, get rid of this, that's because they're trying to get rid of your money in your bank account and put it in theirs. So just be very careful about that. Be very careful, because they don't know you. That's another thing. It's like going to these bookstores and you've got shelves upon shelves covered in all these diet books. You know why there's 50 million of them? Because, hell, 7 billion people on the planet. How can they cater to all of you? They don't know what's going on.
I mean, it's just so many silly arguments too, right? It's like, fat is your body's preferred fuel source. Like, okay, well, that means if I eat fat and carbs at the same time, it should know to utilize the fat. Right? I mean, if it's my preferred fuel source, then it shouldn't be a problem.
So I should be just crapping out carbs all the time. Like, oh.
Like if I give my body the option, it's going to go with the fat, right? It's like, come on. I mean, I'll tell you what, man. If you're eating a nutrition plan and you wake up and your energy is great within, let's say, 20 minutes of getting out of bed, 15, 20 minutes, right? Like, you don't need a cup of coffee. I'm not saying you shouldn't drink coffee. I'm just saying you don't need it to get your day going. You don't need tea. You don't need coffee. You don't need any kind of stimulant. You don't need a pre-workout drink, nothing. Your energy is good, and your energy is good all day. You're doing something right. Doing something right. If you're drinking copious amounts of coffee all day long, you're taking stimulants and energy drinks, then you're doing something clearly wrong.
Exactly. Actually, that first stop should be in those first 20 minutes you waking up. Should be.
Yeah, exactly.
It's elimination.
That'll give you some energy
too.
And
you should be feeling good about it. You shouldn't be constipated. It's like you should just be flowing right on out so you can get
about 5 pounds lighter now. You should feel more energy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, bring on that smoothie. Let's go. Start this process all over again. So that's the thing, man. And that's another thing. When you're consuming food, like, you should be ready to use that restroom, man, not too long after you've consumed that meal. That food should be on its way out. It should not be hanging out, calling up his buddies and everything else and inviting more people over. That food should be like, I got to go. Can't hang out here very long. You should be taking a dump pretty darn soon, man. That elimination process should be just flowing freely, literally. So, yeah. So that's another thing you need to think about. You're sitting there and you're eating and you're feeling all tired and worn out and you've got this, what we call in the South, itis. That disease where you just eat too much and you just feel like you're about to go into a food coma. That's an issue. Because you're not processing and digesting that food fast enough. Also, chew your food, man. Quit swallowing it. You're not a dog. I sit there and watch my dog eat something. I'm like, dude, you might want to use those canines and chew every now and then. But they just
most people are fast eaters. I mean, you and I have been out to dinner with people before, and most people are done, and you and I are a quarter of the way through our meals. And I was hanging out,
and I'm a sectional eater too. I don't like blending all my food, so I'm like, I'm gonna eat the potatoes first, then I'm gonna go to the green beans. So and that drives my wife crazy. Like, oh my God, you eating sections? I'm like, I don't like all, and I don't want my food.
Don't worry about what
either.
I'm doing. Focus on your food. It's like, why are you so focused on how I'm segmenting my plate?
Get out of my
plate. I had lunch with our good friend Chris Reed a couple of weekends back, and Chris is a big guy, and we went to this great buffet called Mint Bistro. It's an Indian restaurant, right? I mean, he'd gone through maybe 2 or 3 plates while still working on my first one.
Oh, I've seen Chris at work at a buffet. I've taken him and I've regretted it. I'm like, I don't think I was a good friend. And by taking him, and not to him, but to the people at the restaurant who knew me, they're looking like I took him.
Ken, and you cleared that place.
Oh my God, they pulled my wife and I to the side like, oh, they big boys, they eat so much. I was like, you telling me? I have a picture.
And Ken's sodium retention was so high that I've never seen someone so bloated after a meal than Ken. Like, we went to an Indian restaurant one time, and afterwards I'm like, man, are you okay?
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that dish had salt in it.
Yeah, I mean, he was retaining some serious water after that meal.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, Chris, I love him to death. That boy can put some food away though, so I can just imagine what that was like, man.
Nah, but for me, I want to enjoy the experience. So I mean, we're talking. I'm finishing off that one plate, then I go get another one. I'm taking it slow because if you eat really fast, what happens is, I mean, your appetite will go down, but then you're going to be hungry a little bit later.
And you've got gas.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like you are blowing air out of both ends at the same time. That's another hit. If you're belching and farting at the same time, that's a hit right there. Like I mean, you're like a walking.
If you're walking
bazooka.
around farting on command, that's a bad sign.
Hey Mike, what? Boom, that's my boy. That's my boy right there.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Even with my protein shakes, right? I make sure to dilute them really well, and then it's about 30 ounces of liquid, and I take one glass at a time. So I pour one glass, I'm sipping on that. That's done. I go sip on another one. A lot of people make their shake in the morning, they just down it.
Gulp it, man.
Gun
like,
it.
Oh, how can I even do
Get on
that?
with their day. It's like, let me just gun this.
Especially if it's whey protein. I'm like, why would you want to do that? So now when you're farting on command, you're sharting on command. And that's a problem right there. So so these are all little subtle hints. The body is smarter than you, and it loves to feed you information. It's trying to tell you like, nah, you don't need to read a magazine or watch Dr. Oz. I'm telling you right now. I mean, we're passing gas on demand. That should be a hint. You don't need Dr. Oz to reinforce this. Okay, so just pay attention to your body and just not be so unconscious when you're eating. You know, again, that's another thing. Like I say, most people just want to get through it so they can move on to the next thing. Or before the food even comes, they're already thinking about dessert. Like, dude, we didn't get the main course. Why are you already talking about dessert? Can we one thing at a time? How do we even know that the actual main course is going to be good? It might suck. You might want to leave this restaurant. Then you're going to be all disappointed. Like, man, we didn't get to have dessert because you're so fixed on that. So, again, those expectations, man, just one thing at a time. Take your time. Hate to sound like your mother. Chew your food.
Well, I think it's because you're so focused on what you're doing next, you never think about now. But the problem is that if you're always focused on what you're doing next, then you're never living. So, I mean, if I'm at the gym doing a set of squats and then in between sets, I'm like, okay, once I get this done, I'm going to go do this, and then I'm going to go run some errands after this. How good is my performance going to be there? And it's not going to help me do those other things better later, because why do I need to think about those 3 hours ahead of time? So if I'm focusing on what I'm doing right there in the moment, I'm going to have a great workout. I'm going to feel better. And then those things that I need to do afterwards, they're still going to be there waiting for me to do.
Yeah.
So I think anticipation, is something that's stressful for a lot of people. More often than the actual act itself is anticipation.
Yeah, we have this opposite effect going on. You got some people who think they have all the time in the world and they don't get anything done. Then you have people who think they don't have enough time, so they got to rush through things and miss things, and they're in the same situation as the person who think they had all the time to work with. Now they don't get anything done that's worthwhile. So you're kind of in the same boat as this either or type thing, the black or white situation, where instead of just looking at that gray area and what's going on between point A and point B is all those points in between is where it really matters, man. And quit just trying to rush to get to point B by any means necessary. You know, so just, again, every little thing has got some part of it where you're enjoying the journey. Hell, even just sitting down having dinner. Because guess what? That's also another privilege not afforded to many in this world.
Yeah.
You get to have dinner every day. Even if it's a crappy McDonald's dinner. Some people can't even get that. So, not that I'm endorsing McDonald's, but hey.
No, unfortunately, it usually takes some catastrophic event for people to slow down and focus more. With my mother passing, now a lot of people are talking about, she meant so much to me. She did this, she did that. But they never told her that. I'm just like different relatives telling me that. I mean, it's all nice that they're saying these things, but they never told her that when she was alive. And it's like, let's do this memorial and really do it up, and everyone's going to say all these nice things and so forth. And that's all fine and good. I'm not saying we shouldn't have these rituals, but she's not there to hear it.
Right.
So my attitude is, one of my favorite books, The Great Gatsby, right? And then they made a movie. They made two movies, one with Leonardo DiCaprio, one with Robert Redford back in the day, which is a classic, really good. Yeah. And then at the very end, his good friend is like, I don't want to show up at the funeral because I want, what I do is when people are alive, I say what I have to say when people are alive. And I get the premise of that. I'm not saying you shouldn't show up at a funeral. You should. Right. But I appreciate the substance of that statement, where a lot of times it takes something like a catastrophic event, death of a loved one or something else, for people to slow down and think, I never told her how much she meant to me, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, you should have. That's something you need to slow down and think about right now with the people around you, because you never know when that opportunity will be over.
And again, it's like, you know what, man, I'm always so busy. I never had a chance to call. What are we doing?
What are you, the president of the United States?
Busy?
Exactly.
It's like, and I'm pretty sure he gets to call his mom
Yeah.
every now and then too.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, he even gets to go to Kenya and see his long lost brothers. And I'm pretty sure they're trying to mooch off of him every 5 seconds. Because you're the president of the United States. Like, you must have all that money. Yeah, about $200,000 a year. Okay, but like, loan me something. But yeah, even he has time to see some family, man.
Yeah, and if you're that busy, you need to ask yourself why and for what purpose.
Why? I think if you eliminated some of that stuff, the busyness out of the business, you won't be so busy. You realize, like, now I actually have time for myself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, man, then all this stuff you're busy doing is not benefiting anyone, because you're not going to be around anymore.
Well, I mean, my goal with my business, early on, you're putting in 7 days a week, you're grinding, you have to do that to build a business. But I always had a goal of getting to a point where I have a lot of free time.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at now.
Exactly.
I want to set things up in a very smart, intelligent manner where I can pull back the reins and have plenty of free time to go live my life, not just be working all the time.
Hey, man, you got to plant the seeds. It's like, you plant a seed for a tree or whatever. You got to toil the land. You got to feed it. You got to sit the water, blah, blah. Once that tree starts growing, there's a lot less stuff you have to do.
Right.
Once it starts to grow on its own. Yeah. So you got to plant that seed, of course, and then really, nurture that. But eventually, it's going to get to the point where it can sustain itself a little more and doesn't need you as much. It's kind of like your children, people. Yeah. After they become adults, it's time to let go. Hopefully, you've done everything that you need to do in the process of raising them. That, once they are in a position where they're adults and take care of themselves, let them take care of themselves. Don't try to hold on to them. Don't try to keep them around. Let them go out, expand their wings, and do what they need to do and get their own life. You had your life, so quit trying to impose it on them. And let them be who they're going to be, and just hope that during the process of you raising them, you did the best job that you could. Okay, and not by any book, the way it says of what a perfect parent is or whatever. You just be the perfect parent you can be to that child. It doesn't necessarily mean it's one for every child. And again, once they become adults, let it go.
Yeah,
they got to bust their ass. Hell, you can't sit there and carry them for the rest of their lives when they're babies. Eventually, they got to try to learn how to stand up and walk on their own. And guess what? In the process, they busted their ass quite a few times. But eventually, it all worked out for most kids. They eventually learn how to freaking walk and not bust their ass. And then some people still clumsy when they become adults. They're gonna bring that up. So yeah, so you just got to do that, man. Nurture the seed, man. Let it grow and then let it go.
Yeah, and learning how to let things go, I think, is a good lesson in a lot of contexts. A lot of times you get into something and you're really passionate about it, and then for some reason it loses its thunder, and you have to think about why that's the case. Maybe you're burned out. Maybe you just need some time away. Maybe it's time to move on to something else, completely different. Exactly. And then you have to have the courage to take that step. You did it once to do the first passion. Now do it again to have the next one. And I've been there.
You got the blueprint.
You've changed careers many times in your life, and I'm in a transitional.
I'm changing it right now.
Yeah, I'm in a transitional phase myself where I realized. A couple of workshops ago, I realized that the whole thing was coming to an end, kettlebell instruction and so forth. It just wasn't having the same allure that it used to have. And then once my supplements blew up, it's like that was a wrap. It's like I'm done. I'm just done. Because it's not something I want to do anymore. And I'm not going to just keep doing it because it's comfortable. I'm not going to keep doing it because that's what some people know me for.
Or it's comfortable for them. It makes them comfortable. Exactly. Like, well, I know you, Mike, as the kettlebell guy. Well, I never said I was the kettlebell guy.
If you look at my website now, it's all about my products. It's like who I am is basically in the background now, where before it was basically you're selling yourself, because my business model was I'm teaching workshops, I'm selling videos, I'm selling books. It's all about me and what I have to say. So my who I am is up in forefront on the website. Now it's more, it doesn't really matter who I am. It's about my supplement line and what they can do for you. So now I'm in the background now, and that's where I want to be. So my day-to-day now is doing the show with you, and then designing my products, putting out information to get my products out there. I don't do any expensive marketing campaigns. I don't have full page ads in muscle and fitness. What I rely on is creating products that are really good so that people want to buy it again and then tell people about it. And guess what? It works, which is why I'm able to quit everything else. I wouldn't be able to quit everything else if it wasn't working. So that's a sign that the products are good.
That's the thing, yeah. There is. But again, that's where you focus most of your attention. Again, you're planting that seed and you're nurturing that seed right there. Instead of being all over the place and still trying to, let me just do one more workshop. Let me just do another workshop.
Well, I think what people do is they start counting. It's like, well, man, I'm making this much doing this. Imagine if I do 30 workshops too, and then I have 100 online clients. Man, okay, for what? And you're not going to be able to do all those things well. That's the reality. You have to make sacrifices. Every time you make one decision, it means you can't do something else, and that's fine. as long as it's what you want to do. But my attitude is I don't want to teach workshops anymore, and I'm perfectly happy with saying that because I just have no desire to do it anymore. It ran its course. It was fun while it lasted. I did it for 10 years. I went all over the country, went all over the world. It was great. Now it's time to move on, and that's okay. I did everything I wanted to do in that realm. So when it's time to move on, you go. You don't want to be the last guy to leave the party. Right? You don't want to leave. You don't want to be the first. I mean, there may be some benefit from being one of the first.
Oh, let me tell you. I enjoy being the first one there because that means I'm leaving a lot earlier.
Well, that's how I feel about kettlebell workshops. I was the first one in to do that. Nobody was doing kettlebell workshops before me. Nobody. Pavel was doing his certifications, but he wasn't taking it to the masses. I took it to the people. Right. I showed that you can make a great income as a kettlebell instructor. And then by the time other people jumped in, I was 3 years ahead of that whole thing. So I came in, blazed a path, did everything I wanted to do. That path is over. I'm starting another path now. And I've been doing this path for a while, actually. The supplement business has been something I've been doing since 2011. I came out with recovery oil. Then I came out with the T Booster in 2012. So I've been doing it for a few years, and it's working really well, and it's fun. It's exciting. I love researching these things. I love looking into it. I love coming up with product ideas, designing things. And I'm never going to design a product just for the sake of making money and throwing out some crap. If it's not a good idea that I've worked all the way through till its natural conclusion, then it's not going to come out.
Right. Yeah, trust me. There are quite a few things that, at the time it was a great idea, but after really researching or whatever, it didn't become a great idea for me. I'm like, I don't bring it up, or I don't bring it up anymore. I'm like, okay, that's going to be a pain in the ass. It's going to make me not like that certain aspect of life anymore. I'm like, I want to continue to like that, so I'm not going to ruin it for the sake of just making money. Because my thing is, it's great making money, but I also like making a living. Meaning, I actually like to experience life and truly enjoy that. And let all those things work together, with my life. Not just be either or, like, doing it all for the money, but damn, I'm stressed out. Life sucks. I'm tired. My health is going to crap, but hey, I'm making a lot of money. So a lot of wealthy people that can sit there and tell you those exact same things. And you can look at them like, I don't think I want that. Okay, it's not as glamorous as it seems.
No doubt.
So, and they're doing a lot of things that are they're just more distractions to just try to pull away from the obvious. Like, dude, you're running yourself into the ground. Yeah, but I got a new yacht. Yeah, but how much does it cost to maintain that yacht and live up this facade, this lifestyle, put on this air to show people like I'm successful? Like, no, man. Are you happy? That's one of the biggest keys to success right there. Are you? And
it's really important that you are well calibrated and you know exactly who you are and you're genuinely happy because not only is it destructive to you if you're lying to yourself, it's destructive to everyone around you. Yeah, that can have disastrous consequences. So I mean, it's. If everyone decided that they would have the courage to go pursue what makes them come alive, they would be much more beneficial to not just themselves, but the people around them as well.
Yeah, exactly. And again, once you make a decision like this is what makes me happy, put a plan in place, man. We're not sitting there saying, hey, stop everything you're doing now. Quit your job. Go do it. No, because that's reckless as well. Like, no, have a plan, man, and really be serious. If it really drives you, put a plan together.
Well, I've been fortunate that everything that's speaking in the context of the fitness business, everything that I really got into that excited me personally has somehow become part of the business model. I started with kettlebells. I wore myself out, so I really got into hormone optimization to fix myself. Then I started talking about it. Guess what? A lot of people were interested in that. And then that led to different nutrition supplements that, again, I had no inclination to sell them and make it part of my business. I just used them personally. I'm like, wow, this is great stuff. Started telling people about it. Now they're interested. Then an opportunity came to start designing my own things. So but it all comes from the place of genuine interest on a personal level. Like, I'm doing this to benefit personally. And then I'm like, I bet there's other people who would want to benefit just like this. And then bam, there it goes. It becomes part of my business model.
So, yeah, that's just something to put in your head, folks, when you're out there. Because I know you guys, we've heard people like, you guys always just bash people who actually have real jobs, which I laugh at that when you say real jobs. I'm like, you know what? You can have a real job.
I don't bash anyone who does a job and makes money, because there's so many losers out there who, like, people who borrow money from us, never pay it back, like that kind of situation that are like that. Or they think they're too big to do a job. That's like, they're like, I'm too good for that. And then there's people that are like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I completely respect that. So I respect respect anyone who has a job and is willing to put in the grind. But what I'm saying is, if you're willing to work that hard doing something you don't want to do, imagine putting that effort into something you do want to do.
First, we got to be very aware of who you are, like you said, because not everyone is really cut out to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone is cut out to be a boss. No, not everyone is cut out to be the guy, the number one guy. Some people are very happy being number two. But my thing is, if you choose to be number two, just don't get treated like number two. Like the other number two that I'm speaking of. Okay, that's the thing about it. Still, you can still be great.
You're going to have a hard time taking a number two from all the stress. If you're a number two,
and you're always going to feel like, number two every time you wake up every day too.
I mean, we know a guy who was a number two, and that guy's under a lot of stress. So you got to be careful about being number two.
So again, it helps to know who you are. So it's like you can be the damn best number two guy out there. There's some guys that love being lieutenants, man.
Right.
There's some guys that they don't want to be the head of the mob. They like, I'm good being the enforcer. I'm good with that, and I'm damn good at it too.
No, I know people who have these kind of quiet lives, right? Like there's a nice guy in the neighborhood, young guy. He works at Target, and he works in the loading bay. He's a big movie fan, big video game enthusiast, and every time you talk to this guy, he's in a really good mood, really friendly guy. And I don't get the impression that he's lying to himself. I just get the impression that, hey, he's just happy with simple things in life. He's got his little job. He's got his little hobbies he enjoys. And that's enough.
I mean, those are the people you see. Those people you see like, hey, man, what's going on? Oh, I can't complain.
Right.
And they say it with a smile on their face like, oh, okay. And then there's everybody, hey, man, what's up? Oh, same old, same old. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Like, ladies and gentlemen, meet the number two guy that is the number two guy. Okay, when they say things like that, like, you know how it is, sincere. No, I don't. So I don't know what
Not everyone's going to have these ambitious goals though that they have to pursue to be happy. Like this guy's life, it's not enough for me. I want more from myself. That doesn't mean that what he's doing is wrong and what I'm doing is right. It's just being honest with yourself.
But that dude's attitude is what
I absolutely. I like
that, and I want to pursue that. I want to continue to try to achieve that kind of happiness that he's feeling right there. Like, there is where we could connect. Like, I get it, man. Hell yeah. Even though we're doing different things, we have the same common goal. We're just happy, man. It's simple. It's happy. We're doing what we like. I love it.
Some people you talk to, it's like, hey, how's it going? It's like, great. Don't tell me.
Oh, the breath.
That wasn't an invitation for you to start telling me stuff.
That was the breath of death. Because everything after that is make you wishing you think they're dying. It's like they're taking their final breath, man. Like, oh.
Yeah, some people are way too comfortable talking about their luxury problems. Like, oh, let me tell you, man, I got this going on. I was like, no. You made the mistake. You mistakenly interpreted that question that I actually want to hear of this. So,
it was a rhetorical question, man. Come on. Like, yeah, I got these 3 card notes now. We're going into foreclosure in our $1 million home. Like, okay, did you have to throw the number in there too? Really? Did I ask you for that? I didn't ask for your financial statement, man. I'm like, are you good?
Well, what's funny, you can always tell when a guy is really insecure, right? Because this is a real male flaw right here. Because I never see women do this. This is a flaw that guys corner the market on, and it's that guy who has to find some clever way to drop in how much money he makes in the conversation. Yeah. It's like, well, last month I made $50,000, and then so I'm now working. It's like nobody asked you how much money you make.
It's the penis measuring.
Yeah, nobody asked and nobody cares, and none of us are going to look at you as if you're better because you dropped that in there. Frankly, we're looking at you like you're some insecure twat. The fact that you had to find some clever way to bring it up. So we don't need to hear about it all. I only want to hear that if it makes sense. Man, in the context of a conversation. Like we're talking, like you're a business partner, we're talking numbers, so we have to discuss these things.
I don't need to know. Like, I just bought my 3rd Lamborghini.
Like, well, you must not be very happy. Because hell, man, 1 should have been enough.
Exactly.
1 should have been more than enough. You had to go buy 2 more somehow, thinking that's going to fill out the black hole in your soul.
Oh man.
Yeah. Whenever someone is just surrounding themselves with just material toys, like you're just a big grown-up kid, that's always a sign that you're trying to overcompensate for some area that you're not happy with. It's like, well, I don't like my job, and I deserve to reward myself. So I'm going to go buy this boat that I'll use 2 times a year, once a year if you're lucky. I'm going to go buy 5 cars, even though you only need 1. You know, you can only drive one at a time, right?
You're going to drive one at a time. Exactly. I always laugh like when people have like, yeah, man, especially like a lot of rappers, man. You got on cribs, I used to see them having like 12 cars. I'm like, dude, 12 cars in a house with like 15 bedrooms. I'm like, you can only sleep in one bed at a time, man. What are we doing here? How many people do you really want to have so many rooms that so many people can fill that up? Do you want that many people at your house? It's funny, like just watching that show Ballers, man, with The Rock on HBO and just seeing that.
Yeah, that's a good show.
And I really feel like I wish a lot of these kids who are coming up in high school, man, especially like in underprivileged areas or whatever, man, could watch this show.
Right.
So they can kind of get a little dose of reality, you know. And it kind of reminds me of how, like, when my middle son was young, Oz would come on. Now, obviously, people would be like, this is bad parenting. I'm like, no, I want him to watch this.
That's the best parenting ever.
Well, I showed him that, and it kept him on the straight and narrow. I'm like, you see that? Do you want that happening to you? Okay, can you just imagine? You know what they call that? That's called rape, son. It doesn't just happen to women. Men get raped. It just doesn't go reported as much. It happens. So don't sit there and think that's a female thing or anything. That's an atrocity that only happens to women. Okay, so it happens to a lot of people, and especially when people go to prison. That's like rape central. So you got to ask yourself, all the dumb stuff you do out here, is it really worth that? Because that's what all the dumb things you would do out here that you don't have to do because you're nowhere, you're not underprivileged, you're in a very good position. Yeah, you're not wealthy. You don't have a lot of money. Your parents do. Someone don't get it twisted. That's the Bill Cosby way. You know, he used to tell Theo that on the Cosby, like, we're rich. Like, Bill Cosby goes, no, you're not rich. Your mother and I are rich.
Steve Harvey says that too. Steve Harvey, hey, me and my wife are going to have a good time. You guys are going to get this. So don't think you can just kick back and do nothing and be fine.
Exactly.
He's like, that's for us to go have fun. You know? I don't like this expectation a lot of people have. Like the whole notion of inheritance, I always found kind of flawed. Like, why should you get anything?
Yeah, it's kind of like to me. Sometimes even with I can see how some guys feel like with the divorce. Like I was watching I forgot what it was. It's like, why do I have to give you half in divorce? You didn't shoot not one damn basket. It's just like, you weren't even there when I was in Pop Warner, you know, playing football and this other stuff. This started way before you came along. And then, of course, they'll be the ones arguing like, well, she was there putting up with your BS. Well, that's her problem. She put up with it for a long time. She made that choice. Why should she be rewarded for making bad choices? Right. Okay, she should have left that a long time ago. Why? A lot of times it was because of the money, and they kept putting up with it. Then eventually the embarrassment was too much. You just got fed up. You should have been fed up the first time. A lot of times you knew he was going to be that way before you even said I do. And so, but you still made that choice for other reasons. Right. Most of the time. So. Yeah, I feel the same way. Now, if you're someone like, okay, they helped you and they helped you start your business and they were chipping in and hell, they went and worked extra hours so you can stay at home and work on your dream and whatever and sacrifice that. And, you know, let's just say they gave you money to help get your business going. Yeah, they have some stuff to say probably about that business and getting some money out of that from a divorce. But some of these folks, you haven't done a damn thing except just show up and say I do. I got a problem with that. Why should you get half? Why? And another thing is, and I know this is controversial, because, again, sometimes people pawn off the kids. Look, a man should take care of his kids. You know, women, too. So in a divorce, yeah, you should pay child support. Here's my thing, though, with child support, especially when I see with a lot of these celebrities where their ex-wives keep raising and keep going back to court to get more child support. I feel, somebody posted this, and I agree with this. I feel that those parents who are receiving child support should submit receipts showing where that money's going, what they're purchasing. Hey, you and I are entrepreneurs. We got to show receipts when we're paying our taxes. Okay, we got to do that. We're responsible to do that. Otherwise, the IRS is all over our ass. So I feel like the Attorney General should do the same thing for parents receiving child support to make sure they're not abusing the system. And if you disagree with me, you're probably one of those people abusing the system.
Yeah, so you have one 5-year-old kid and you need $100,000 a month.
I'm like, what is he doing? Well, he's got private school. I'm like, where is he going to school? Wharton? I mean, like, come on. He's going to Oxford preschool? What the hell is that? You know, well, we got a certain lifestyle that we've gotten used to. I'm like, well, guess what? You get unused to it because that lifestyle also included me being there as your husband. Okay, so that has already changed, so everything else is going to change. So, no. And then I hate it when you have those situations where those custodial parents use those kids as a pawn. You know, well, if you're not going to do this, then you're not going to get to see the child. Don't do that. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. And that's not gender specific. That goes both ways, whatever gender you are. If you're using your child as a bargaining chip, you suck. And you don't deserve to be. You don't deserve to have that child in your custody. Because what kind of values are you teaching him? You're creating this is another potential asshole because he's learning from the best. Because you're being an asshole when you're doing that. So, and the last thing this world needs is more assholes. So that's a form of child abuse to me when you're raising an asshole by having that type of attitude. Because they're going to be very abusive eventually to someone else with their attitude. So, nah, man, stop that. Stop it. So, again, if I'm offending you, then you're probably the person I'm talking about, and I could care less. So, yeah, on that little rant.
So what's the news on the whole coffee stuff you were talking about? You had a couple of
Yeah, so like I
updates.
said, we're recording this, man, and today is National Coffee Day. And, I've had folks, especially a lot of my customers that bought the Chorrilladores off my website. And they were like, okay, well, what coffee do you suggest? Because obviously I don't have my own line of coffee out right now. And again, it's one of those situations where if it doesn't make sense, it probably won't happen. But if it makes sense to where it's not going to sit there and make me want to pull out my locks at night, then I'll run with it. But for now, I have no problems referring people to some of the best coffee roasters out there.
I see you having your own coffee line soon. Just inevitable. It's just one of those things that will happen. I think it'll surprise you out of nowhere when it does happen, because it's one of those things where you're just because you're so enthusiastic about it, you're just gonna be researching. Then all of a sudden, some opportunity will just present itself. It's just inevitable.
And that's the thing. Yeah, I'm not trying to force
exactly.
it. When it comes. When and if it comes, then, I'll be all open to it. I'm not going to be the person like, I like coffee. Do you like coffee? Can I sell you coffee? And next thing you know, I'm doing that organo gold bullshit, network marketing coffee crap. That'll never happen. Oh, and by the way, if you're listening and you're one of those people because I love coffee and you send me a link to Organo Gold, I'm unfriending you, I'm blocking you, and I'm going to call you out on the show. You know how we feel about that. And anything network marketing wise, don't be that guy or girl. Don't do that. Oh, Sincere likes coffee. Hey, Sincere, have you heard of Organo Gold? Have you ever heard of Go With Me, Asshole? Yeah, that's you right now. Okay, so don't be that guy, man. But anyway, on the coffee note. Yeah, so these are like some of my favorite roasters, man. Some of them are pretty close to where I am because I'm here in Texas. So there's like a couple here in Houston. They're really good, and I really feel like, they don't get the shine they get, like they don't have the big marketing machine behind them like a lot of these roasters have now since this part of coffee started to go and really grow now. But I want to give them shouts out in this as well, and some of the coffee that I like from them, as well as there's one in Austin, there's one in Oregon. And there's another company that's out of Kansas. So one of them is Cuvee. Cuvee is like really, I love that place. Anytime I'm in Austin, I go by Cuvee. Anytime someone asks me like, what coffee do you suggest? That's like the top of my list. So I always put their website in there and send them a link to that. But so you can go to like CuveeCoffee.com. Again, really cool guy. Mike McKim is the guy. He's the owner. He's a really cool dude. They have this one coffee, San Jose Ocaña, which is a Costa Rican coffee. I love it, man, because it's one of those coffees, like if you really like iced coffee, this is one of those coffees that's really refreshing, kind of fruity like, man. Just about any good coffee that comes out of Costa Rica is going to have these hints of fruit. So you're going to get like taste of grapes and, you might get some cherry flavor, and it's going to be really smooth, man. So a lot of times people say, oh, man, coffee really upsets my stomach. This is one of those coffees that's really smooth when it comes to Costa Rica. So, and it also has like hints of toffee and vanilla, like the aftertaste. So it's really, really fresh and really great, like I said, for iced coffee. And I'm not saying by adding milk and everything else, like I'm talking about, no, just having the coffee itself. So, I mean, like I said, I love it iced. And another thing that Cuvee has, and I don't think you can actually order this online, but if you ever find yourself in Austin, and there are some locations here in Houston where you can buy them, like at Cafe Brazil. If you ever find yourself there, they have this thing, especially for you beer drinkers out there, they have this nitrogenated coffee. So it's nitrogen infused coffee. So it kind of gives you it's kind of like a Guinness, but it's coffee. So it's pretty much cold brew coffee with nitrogenated, and it's really, really good, man. I really love it. I'm thinking, well, I haven't posted a picture. I was actually going to put a picture of that on Instagram, but you should give it a try. I believe that, oh man, it's slipping my mind right now. One of the roasters out in California, they have Nitro Brew as well. Stumptown Coffee has one as well, I believe, and it's really, really good, man. So people out in Cali, you might want to check out Stumptown. They weren't on the list of 5 places that I was bringing up, but it's an honorable mention, especially when it comes to the nitrogenated coffee. So also there's PT's Coffee. PT is ptscoffee.com, and one of my favorites from them is Sadama Gucci. Okay, it's out of Ethiopia. I mean, this is where coffee was, quote unquote, invented. This is where it started, man. So when you get a coffee out of Ethiopia, man, it's just like you're kind of getting like a little bit of history right there. This is the reason why some of you guys are in love with coffee, and it all started in Ethiopia. And it's like one of my favorite things, especially if I go to an Ethiopian restaurant, man. I love getting the coffee from there when it's created, when they do it and roast it and brew it traditionally. It's like one of the best things ever. But in particular, this one brand right here, the Sadamaguchi, I mean, it gives you hints of like sugar cookie, nectarine, cardamom. It has like a cardamom aftertaste, honeysuckle, and it's real silky and smooth, man. But the thing is, when you're brewing it, man, it has like this lemony aroma, and which is like all these characteristics, these tasting notes, man, are very indicative, especially of a lot of coffees that come from Ethiopia and Kenya. You know, which brings me to the next one from Heart Roasters out of Oregon, heartroasters.com. There's the Kenya Kayuni. I always jack this one up. Kaunyu. There it is. You know,
you say stuff like that in an accent.
Kaunyu, Kenya Kaunyu. Okay, so you know, then this one's really has like a little bit of a hint of a sweet taste to it. So it's hints of brown sugar and lemon curd, and again, it gives that lemony smell, man, that aroma when you're brewing it, man. So it's really good. I like to smoke a full body cigar with these, with the Kenyas and the Ethiopian coffees, man. It's really, really good. So for me, it'd be like La Gloria Cubana.
And next time you're in town, man, we're going to have to set up a podcast station at the Man Cave down the road from the house. We could just smoke some cigars and record a show there. They would be cool with that, too. The owner is a really cool guy.
Yeah. That'll be the one time we actually do a video of the podcast. You know,
that place is fun. We didn't get a chance to go in there last time you were out here, but it's laid out really nicely. It has a big screen TV in there, a bunch of couches. The guys that work there are cool. Really cool.
I looked at their website and I was like, okay, next time I have to go there. So I think we might be coming out there, man, next month. So yeah.
Well, you guys, you know when you guys should come out, because I've actually finalized a date with Freddie Madball. So Madball's going to be doing a show in Vegas on, I think it's November 19th. I think it's a Friday. It's going to be at the Beauty Bar on Fremont Street. It's not up on their website yet. It's not up on the Beauty Bar website yet, but it's been finalized. So the next couple of days we'll have that up. So I was thinking, and then Freddie was saying, because they have their own podcast now as well. Freddie and Hoya from Madball have their own show. I think it's called the Smoking Gun Show, or what is it called? Smoking Word Show, something like that. It's good. It's really cool, especially if you're a big fan of hardcore music and Madball. So, I mean, he was saying that the four of us should do like a podcast extravaganza. They're on our show. We're on their show. We're all hanging out that weekend. So, I mean, just keep that in mind. I think that's going to be fun.
Dang, I wish I could make it that weekend. Actually, that's the weekend I'm doing a rifle and pistol, street training course with Sonny Pazukas. Is like one of the baddest ex-Russian Spetsnaz out there, man. Like if you're into firearms and you're gonna go and really like up your training, this is a guy you have to come and train with, man.
It may not be the 19th, so I'll get back to you on that date.
Okay, let me know.
It's in November for sure.
Yeah, okay. And I know Freddie's coming out here in October, so you should just
yeah, well, I'm thinking about it.
In Houston.
Thinking about it.
Do the same thing. So yeah, man. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. For me right there, coffee, cigars, firearms. Yeah. That's a good time right there for me, man. So again, we were talking about just transitioning to other things, man, where the passion pulls you. This is what we're talking about right here, and you can just hear it when we talk about it. So yeah, man, so the last two that I want to talk about, these two guys are actually from Houston. The first one is Maya Roasting. Really good. I mean, this guy's so really cool, man. And his beans are like top notch. He roasts them himself. It's not like he's got like this big batch of this company doing it for him or whatever. And what I really like about him is that he goes to these countries. He works with the farmers directly. A lot of these roasters do that I bring up. That's one of the reasons why I like to support them, because they actually support the growers. It's not all about trying to get a label just to say, oh, fair trade or organic or whatever. These guys, they go down and they get a business relationship with these folks. So they're not necessarily going through a cooperative, a fair trade, companies all working together, where a lot of times when you see fair trade, a lot of times that doesn't say what you think it says. They're not doing what you think they're doing. Okay, so sometimes, just like if you go to a farmer's market or whatever, there's some things you may get at a farmer's market that, okay, they're growing it directly. They're not spraying it with pesticides or whatever, but they don't have that organic, symbol on their products because that costs money to get that little USDA organic on it. That costs millions of dollars, and these guys don't have that kind of money. So, but my thing is, when you get to know that farmer, you know how they're growing things, you get to go to their farm and see how they're growing their plants and everything, and watch them, then that should be enough. Which, I mean, all these places that claim to be organic and have that label on their food and their coffee as well, how do you know? Were you there? Well, it's USDA. Well, I mean, really? It's a government agency. It's like, guess who else is an agency? FDA. We see how that works out a lot of times with a lot of drugs. So come on.
I think you have to look for companies that self-regulate, right? No one knows the quality controls that I do for my supplements, but they're fairly extensive.
Right.
I get certificate of analysis from my source to make sure everything is contaminant-free, and then I use an FDA-approved lab to bottle and cap the product. And they also do extensive testing. So I pay 2 times to make sure everything is clear. And if anything is remotely tainted, not only would I not push it through, but this company wouldn't bottle and cap it because they're going to protect themselves. They're not going to bottle and cap something which may get someone sick and then they get sued.
Right.
They're not going to do that. So it's not. Now, does every supplement company do this? No, a lot of them do. A lot of them don't do jack. A lot of them bottle and cap it in their garage and put it in a bottle and send it to you. So you have to.
Well, a lot of them not even bottling capping it at all. They're just throwing their names on it, and then I got sick from this. Well, we didn't do it. We actually got it from so and so.
Yeah, right.
Oh, really? So here's the difference between that. So the difference of what you're doing, and also these farmers, like I'm talking about at a farmer's market, or whatever. Here's business owners that I can approach and talk to. You're there. You're not this faceless company that's just taking my money. Any of your customers can send you an email. You reply back to them. Any of my customers, they email me, I reply back to them. So it's not being sent over to India or the Philippines or something like that, having someone handle it with something that's written down in a binder, and they give you these generic responses, blah, 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 or they got an FAQ list where if they ask you this, tell them that. If they ask this, tell them that. It's not that situation, because everybody's going to be different. So I think that's where the big difference is. It's the reason why I like roasters like this, man. And that's the reason why I like the fact that they actually go and they work with the farmers. So I can actually ask them, like, well, man, how do they deal with, hey, I went to Costa Rica where, everybody claimed there were no chemtrails. Next thing you know, I see chemtrails. So that means they're spraying in the air. Do they have any way to guard this? Do they use like the little like greenhouses or whatever to grow their coffee plants to kind of protect it, from the air and the environment? Do they do this, that, and that? And they can tell me all these different things, man. So that's why I like, the guy over at Amaya. So you can go to his website, it's amayaroasting.com. And one of my favorites from him is the Finca. Here's the thing in the coffee community. There's some snotty, snooty little things that was said over there as far as how to pronounce things. I remember when you look and you see Finca bourbon, because, for those of us that like quality alcohol, you think it's Finca bourbon. But then I've been told that it's Bourbon. I'm like, dude, that's bourbon. Okay, that's just like that takes us back to Leroy a couple of weeks ago. Like Leroy, and then there's Leroy. So Finca Bourbon, out of Guatemala, man. And, this is really, I really like this one, man. This one here is for people who don't want this really kind of just really strong coffee. They want something really smooth and light and kind of fruity. So, it has like hints of tamarind, raspberry, cane sugar. So it's really good with a mild cigar like a CAO Black, man. So, or like an Oliva. So it's just really good for that. And then last is Boomtown Coffee. And this is for people who don't want all this fanciness with their coffee. They just want coffee. So the brand I suggest from them is the Spindletop, which is a blend of, from coffee beans from Brazil, Colombia, Guatemala, and Indonesia. So some very great places to grow coffee, with hints of just a little hint of citrus. And it's for people who just want coffee, but they want good coffee. And it pretty much will go with a lot of things, man. And it's really good for people who like milk-based coffees. So whether it's soy or whether it's, traditional dairy. So those are my 5 right there. Cuvee, PTs, Heart Roasters, Amaya, Boomtown, the San Jose Ocaña, the Sadama Gucci, and the Kenya Kaunyu, and then the Finca Bourbon, and then the Spindletop, man. Those are my top choices right now. Now, 6 months from now, I might discover something new. I know I will. It's been that way because I think the last time I did this probably over a year ago. Only a couple of these roasters appeared in that list, but definitely the coffees have changed. That's the thing about it. A lot of times these coffees are seasonal. So there are going to be coffees that you might see on their website that you can purchase now. You may not be able to anymore because, again, that crop, it might be done for a while. Or that business relationship may be coming to an end just for the fact that, other guys want to come in and work with these folks. So that's the thing. So you might find it at another coffee roaster under a different name, even though it's coming from the same farm, from the same country. So it's just funny how that works. There's a whole slew of politics that goes on in the coffee world that people have no idea about when you just go and get your fake, but not fake anymore, pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. And there's just so many political things that are behind that cup of coffee that, a lot of people would never understand, man. So it's even to the fact, I like to say this much about social media. It can be powerful for the fact that once Starbucks got ousted for not actually using actual pumpkin in their pumpkin spice latte, then they claim that they wouldn't change it now. So now it actually uses real pumpkin, in the flavoring. So they changed it. Not that I'm saying it's probably, well, yeah, I was about to say that's all they need.
To put it on the label.
Exactly. Not that I'm saying that they're using like 100%, true organic pumpkin or whatever else.
Armin, you could just get a cup of coffee at home. You get some pumpkin pie spice powder, put a little teaspoon of that, put some coconut milk in there or something, blend it up, bam, there you go.
Well, here's the thing. It's like even when you grind your coffee, add some cardamom, add a little bit of cinnamon, and then add some pumpkin spice, to that. You're putting it in there before you even brew the coffee, because you've ground it up and put that in and shake it up. And you're also, for some of you people, especially if you use good quality coffee, you're reducing the risk of having, to be have high inflammation with that, because you put in these anti-inflammatories in there, these ingredients with your coffee. And if you're using quality coffee, like the ones I just mentioned, you're not worrying about having these stomach issues. Now, if you go into Starbucks, your stomach's going to be jacked up. So they're not worrying about quality control. They're trying to make a buck. It's a corporation. That's what corporations do. So keep that in mind. But there's so much, and if you want to make your own pumpkin spice, you want to make your own simple syrup, there are so many recipes online, especially on Pinterest. Just type it in and you'll find all these simple recipes, or you can just follow me on Pinterest and follow my coffee board. I have all types of this stuff in there that I share on Pinterest. So, and just type in my name, Sincere Hogan. That's all you have to do is find on Pinterest right there. Keep it very simple. I have a lot of these things, man. So you don't have to sit there and rely on these corporations who just want a quick buck from you and could care less about the quality of the product that they're giving you. You can take matters in your own hands. You'll be a lot healthier and you'll be able to enjoy these things a lot better. And they'll actually taste like whatever it is you think that they're supposed to be. The pumpkin spice will actually taste like pumpkin spice. So that's just my little tip with that. So, yeah. So that concludes my little tip for National Coffee Day a week ago. Hey, better late than never.
Better late than never. Well, cool, man. I think we'll wrap it up there. A lot of good information.
Cool.
Remember to use that coupon code, folks, LLA. Go get 10% off the best nutrition supplements around at MikeMahler.com. You've got my recovery oil to help improve your sleep, Restorezyme, get rid of those aches and pains, give you better workout recovery, and also to prevent your bathroom from looking like a crime scene. Number one benefit. Got the testosterone booster, get that sex drive up, the estrogen down, get on EC, get your workouts going, get stronger, faster, leaner, feel great. So all of that at MikeMahler.com. And how about with you, man?
Same thing, man. Hop over to newwarriortraining.com. Use the same coupon code, 10% off everything over there. Since we're talking about coffee, you can even get 10% off of my Costa Rican chorreadors, which you can pretty much, again, go and make your own coffee, make your own pour-over coffee. You don't necessarily have to go to the coffee shop and get charged 5, 6, 8 times, as far as the markup. Do it yourself right there, man. And the coffee's going to probably taste a lot better, especially when you get those coffees I just mentioned, grind it yourself, fresh, and use that chorreador, man. Make a good cup of coffee, pour over on your own, and so much better. And you can take the chorreador anywhere with you. So you can even travel with it, man. Oh, and if you're not into coffee, it works with tea as well. So the only thing is with the tea, unlike the coffee, instead of 2 tablespoons of tea, it just depends. If it's a black tea, then you probably want to go with about a tablespoon per cup instead of 2 tablespoons per cup. Because one thing about it, for some reason, it's very concentrated when you pour that hot water over the tea. It can become very, very strong, man. So that's a little hint for my tea drinkers out there. For people that like green tea, you can use it for that as well. Here's the cool thing about that. With the green tea, here's a little formula for you. Instead of first of all, don't use boiling hot water. Okay, so you want your water to be about 145 degrees. Pour it over there, but then before you finish off and fill the entire cup, fill it up to about 3/4 of a cup, and that last quarter, use cold filtered water. And that's going to change the complexity and the taste of your green tea, especially the Japanese green tea. So keep that in mind. Yeah, you got that one for free. Okay, so again, you can go over there and get that. You can get the weight management program I spoke about earlier, all that, 10% off, ebooks, DVD, all that great stuff. And last but not least, you can hop over to Patreon, become a monthly supporter of the show. Go to patreon.com/LLA podcast and become a monthly supporter by starting with $5, $10, or even more. All that helps keep the show going and growing. Oh, and one more honorable mention, iTunes, Stitcher, all those good things. Share the episode. Let everybody know about it. Rate us, review us. Get on social media. Let the world know about the LLA show. All right, folks? So that's going to wrap it up for this week. We've done a lot of
yeah, I'm tired of listening to you talk there. Shit.
We have been some talking asses right here, man. Good. It's the beauty of having a guest. We can take a break. If they're interested. All right, folks. We'll see you guys on the next show.
Take care, everyone. Bye.